Hi everyone, and welcome to the 4th episode of Grinding Gears, a series about helping newer Gears players improve. Now today I want to discuss with you guys the starting weapons for Gears of War. And I know a lot of games, many people will look for the best weapon to spawn with, and with Gears of War, you really can't do that. There's a very minimal amount of things you could change with this loadout, and I just want to go through and give you guys the breakdown for each weapon. Now, there are 2 rifles, the Lancer and the MERBURST, and there are 2 close quarters weapons, the GNASHER and the Enforcer. And there's also the unchangeable 2 other options you have, the smoke grenade and the SNUB pistol. Alright, first let's start off with the most iconic weapon in the Gears franchise, the Lancer. The Lancer is a great all-around automatic rifle that can be used for a variety of situations. It will serve you well at medium range, but it's not the most effective any longer than that. Now, of course, if you're up close and personal with someone, the chainsaw on the end is always an effective way to deal with somebody. And, it's best to use this when people aren't paying attention. Because it's really good to know that if you are shot while you're revving up the chainsaw, you will be knocked out of it and stunned. So, you want to make sure you're going to chainsaw people who either aren't paying attention, or if it's a last-ditch effort that someone got close to you really fast, and you just are trying to hope that you can get the chainsaw off before they kill you. And for newer players who don't know how to do that, you have to hold down the melee button to do that. So normally on default that's B, just so everyone's aware there. Now, the Lancer can also be used very effectively behind cover, whether it be blind firing or just popping up and down from behind cover and taking long shots at people. It's very good to do if someone's trying to charge your piece of cover you're hiding behind. If they're trying to get a metal kick on you or something, you can just come up behind cover and just shoot them while they're doing it and down them. And in fact, the Lancer is a great tool at both denying opponents' objectives and weapons, as well as denying people from trying to charge you. So if someone's running at you, a GNASHER, running strong straight in a line at you, pull that Lancer out, just put shots right into them. They'll go down really fast. They won't even touch you most times. Sometimes due to the GNASHER's, sometimes crazy range, they might get a shot and damage you, but if they're charging headstrong, Lancer will do work. And honestly, I do notice that a lot of people don't pull out their rifles when they could be getting damage on someone, until they just try to run up there and GNASHER them. Trust me, the rifles can do a lot more work than a lot of people give them credit for. Next up, we have the MERBURST. As of right now, I feel the MERBURST is definitely the better of the 2 rifles. However, on November 1st, it's getting nerfed. So, it's definitely a much needed nerf. At the time of this recording, it only takes 3 bursts to down someone with this rifle. And that's if all 3 bullets hit from the burst. So, that can go really, really fast. They're toning down the body damage of the MERBURST, but they're not really toning down the headshot damage, since that takes a little bit more skill. And we'll see how much, when the patch launches, how much this damage is going to be dropped down. My guess is it's going to be probably 5 bursts instead of 3 to down someone to the body. Now, the MERBURST itself is a burst fire rifle that is best used at medium to longer ranges. But it can do some damage if someone's rushing you from a medium range, just like the Lancer can. So if someone's trying to charge you, you might be able to down them. In fact, pre-patch, you definitely could. We'll have to see after patch how the damage looks. Now, this gun does take a bit more skill and accuracy than the Lancer, and I think even after the patch, it will still be somewhat viable. Now, besides these rifles, as I said before, there are 2 close range options for you to use. They're the GNASHER and the new Enforcer. The GNASHER is the favorite weapon of most players who use Gears of War. And while the Lancer might be the most iconic, the GNASHER definitely, in my opinion, is the utility weapon of this game. Now, the reason this weapon is so loved is because it has very quick kill times and because it has a very high skill ceiling. The GNASHER is a shotgun that is devastating up close and also works well at medium range. Now, it's also important to know the GNASHER is going to be getting some tweaks in this patch as well. I didn't quite understand what it was getting at. It was saying something about super up close damage and up close damage. It didn't really make much sense, but it's definitely getting tweaked. And hopefully it'll be a little more consistent, because as of right now, the NASHER doesn't seem to be that consistent. I don't know if it has to do with the shot delay coming out of certain actions, or what it is. However, it's much more consistent than its Gears of War Ultimate counterpart, let me tell you that much. Now, one thing I definitely want to say is, the NASHER is a weapon you want to get familiar with. You know, learning how to use this weapon, along with really good movement skills, is very, very important to improving in Gears. I would say it's possibly the most important thing you could do. Now, I know many people don't like how NASHER heavy the multiplayer is, but in my opinion, it's what separates Gears from most other games. In my earlier videos, I mentioned many topics related to improving the NASHER, such as wall bouncing, hip firing, and pop shotting. One way you can really tell if someone's improving at Gears of War is seeing how they deal with their wall bouncing and their NASHER play. Now again, as I said before, wall bouncing all crazy isn't necessarily the best way to do it. Just incorporating a little bit of it into close quarter shotgun duels is enough to help. Just try getting in the habit of doing it sometimes just to throw your opponent off. Now, the new close range option and the main counter to the NASHER is the Enforcer. The Enforcer is an SMG with a very high rate of fire, and this gun can definitely help you if you're having a little bit of trouble with NASHER, but I wouldn't rely on it too much to become too much of a crutch, because like I said, learning the NASHER is something I think you really should try to do. Now, if the enemy with the NASHER is unable to kill you or down you in 2 NASHER shots, most times you will lose to the SMG, just to be aware of that. So if you're going up against someone with the Enforcer, you want to make your NASHER shots count. Or if at all possible, use your rifles to make sure they're out of range so they really can't do as much damage to you. Now the next 2 weapons I'm going to talk about, because the Enforcer, I wouldn't have much else to say, are weapons that are often overlooked when you spawn. You will always spawn with the SNUB pistol and the smoke grenade, and they definitely can be very useful. Now the SNUB pistol is a gun that has been really hit or miss in the past Gears games. In this game it seems to be a pretty decent option to do additional damage, and it can definitely do a good amount of work if you're having someone as a meat shield. Now, it's also good to deal additional damage to someone if say your rifles has to reload and you miss your active for some reason, or if you just want to have a sniper and you body shot someone, instead of trying to waste another sniper shot, pulling out your SNUB pistol and finish them off that way is a very good and viable option, something I would definitely recommend doing. Now, if you use the SNUB pistol alone, it will take under a single clip if you hit every shot to down someone, so it still can be pretty lethal. It is also very important to know that you cannot headshot kill someone with a SNUB unless they're downed. And I'm not sure how other Gears worked. I know in Ultimate Edition in Gears 1, the SNUB pistol could headshot kill someone. However, it seems like they've turned that off in this game. But if you're playing Execution and someone's down, the pistol can headshot someone while they're downed. Why they did that, I'm not quite sure. But it's a good long-range way to kill someone in Execution, so keep that in mind. Now the last weapon I want to discuss is the smoke grenade, which, you know, many people I see just trade out for whether it be the new shock grenade or, you know, the good old frag grenades. But the smoke grenade can be quite useful on its own. Now the obvious use for smoke grenades is to mask your movements or to block the enemy views of something. So if you want to go for a power weapon, or if you're trying to flank, you know, using the smoke to come through and attack people they're not expecting is a good thing to do. Using the smoke so you can pick up the weapon and they're not quite sure where you are is a good way to do it. And it can also be used to throw your opponent off. If you throw a smoke one direction and come around the other way, they might be expecting you to come through the smoke. So it does have good uses that way. But it does have other functions, and one function I think is very important that some people might not know or might not realize they kept from Gears 3. Now if your enemy is holding one of your teammates as a meat shield, you can be at a big disadvantage, you know, most of the time. Like I said, the pistol can down if every shot hits in a single clip, so it can kill really fast. However, if you throw a smoke grenade right at their feet, the detonation of the smoke grenade will cause them to drop their meat shield, which could be very advantageous to you and something that they might not expect to happen. So I really don't see many people taking advantage of this. You know, another thing of the smoke grenade too is it just stuns people in general. So if you throw it at people, it'll land on their feet, they'll be stunned in a little animation for a little bit, so you can come in and clean up the kill. But also beware, if you throw your smoke grenade or if you get too close to it detonating, you will get stunned as well. So I do know some people using this for this function, but I still don't know how many people do know about that. Also, if you have a meat shield yourself, this is something they brought back from Gears 3 I didn't realize till the other day. If you're holding a meat shield and you hit up on the D-pad, you will tag a smoke grenade to the enemy's head and kick them toward the enemy. And you might be able to do this with the stun and frag grenade as well, but I'm not quite sure and I haven't tested it yet. But I definitely will try to see if that works the same way. And seeing your teammate being kicked toward you with the grenade on their head is kind of weird and disorienting and something they might not be expecting you to do. So again, another good tactic to use this grenade for, and possibly the other grenades as well. Alright, now that's really all I have to say about these starting weapons, and I hope this has been some use to you guys. Now again, as I said in all my other videos, going into versus CPU mode is a great way to get used to these starting weapons, and to get comfortable with them, and to see what rifle you're more comfortable with, what one you think might fit your playstyle a little more. Because if you're someone who likes to stand back a little bit more range, MERBURST might be great for you. If you're someone who likes to be a little bit more medium range, still do some suppressive fire, Lancer's great. If you really want to get up close and personal, well, get used to the NASHER. You're going to use the NASHER anyway, because you're going to be forced into up close and personal situations at some point. But that's a good weapon for you. The Enforcer might be a good alternative. So again, versus CPU, go in there and figure it out. Heck, even playing through Campaign and Horde, you might be able to use these weapons too. So just playing other modes can definitely prep you for using these online. Alright, thanks so much as always for watching, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.